Okay. Yeah, making a commentary video for the 19th chapter of my book, Metadimensional, which you can read on Kindle or listen to for free on Google Play, and the links are in the description. So the 19th chapter is called Drifting Deeper, and it continues from where the chapter before it left off, which was in the realization that through any time the body is still alive, there is some kind of a tether to experience, even when we think that that the body looks unconscious, or that it doesn't even seem to sleep, like there's not in an REM dream or something like that. There's still something experientially happening. It's just not being recorded in memory, and that's a necessity, because otherwise you'd find it would be impossible to explain how, for example, an alarm clock can wake you up, when understanding that the only time there is experiential time. So bodily process cannot happen if there is nothing experiential mobilizing them. And you can try to argue against that, but eventually you realize experience has to be there all the time. It simply doesn't have to be perceiving wakeful reality, but it is perceiving something of the body, something of the wakeful perspective. Now, something to understand here is that when I say that it perceives something of the body, I'm not talking about the corporeal body, the thing that you see in wakeful reality, the 2 arms, 2 legs, head, all the things that you expect a body to look like. These are just forms. This isn't the body. This is just a perception of the objective substrate that is that experience reflects on. And the distinction between, say, your nose and the edge of the universe are well, they're quite contingent. It's all one big body space, and the corporeal body, these are just forms that you choose to make that are meaningful to you, but they are the substrate of the entire universe is the same as the substrate of your body. Of course, there's each portion of the substrate may be responsible for different functions, but they're all fulfilling a function. And if they don't fulfill a function, they're not a part of the body space. They're not part of the objective substrate. They are not part of the pieces of the fractal scape that produces the perception of, they inspire the perception of your wakeful reality. Okay, so the actual body is not what you perceive. The actual body is not in time. The actual body isn't in the now. It's not in space. It's simply not anything of, it has nothing wakeful about it. The only thing that makes it wakeful is that perception. So when I'm saying that experience is there with that body, but not necessarily with anything wakeful. So if you want to understand what I mean, like this is probably confusing. So you can think about the body like a prism, and think about your experience as light, as a beam of light. When you perceive something, you're sending your beam of light into that prism. That is the objective substrate, that is the body space. That prism hits the body space and reflects back at you. And when it reflects back at you, you perceive experience, and then you understand things from it. So it's basically a refraction. The wakeful reality you perceive, or the reality in perception, it's just a refraction of experience on the objective substrate. And what you perceive, even if it is the exact same prism, exact same objective substrate, exact same body space or body, you can perceive it from different directions in a metaphor. Even though it's going to be the same body, but it's going to look very, very different, or it's going to give a very different impression. So the wakeful reality is one direction from which you can perceive that body space. But when you are unconscious, it probably means that you're simply perceiving that body from a different direction. And what does the different direction mean? It doesn't mean a different direction in space. This is just a metaphor. What it actually means that it could be any combination of properties of what you think, what you know as wakeful reality, and maybe things that have nothing to do with wakeful reality. It's simply that the substrate is the same, but the way you perceive it can be very different, and can be, for example, it can be from a different time. It can be in an alternate reality, something that looks like an alternate reality, which is inspired by the wakeful reality, but is not it. It could be that you're perceiving the future, or not a future, an alternate future, or an alternate past, or you perceive people. You can meet people not in the wakeful reality, but rather in what I call the sub-wakeful outreach of your body space. Like all the ways that you can perceive your body space not as wakeful, not through a wakeful perspective. And there you can, so basically your experience could extend out into the future, into the past, and meet people in the sub-wakeful outreach that are no longer alive, or haven't been born, or whatever. So there's a lot of, like, I don't know what actually happened. I'm just saying it's possible, because the body is not the wakeful body. The body is out of time. And if you look at it from a different perspective, a different direction, if you perceive it from a different way, through a different experiential movement, it could be very different. But the thing is, of course, all of this is just speculation, because, as I just said, all these perceptions of the body from a different direction, well, they happen when there's no memory. So you can confirm any of this. But still, it's better than knowing nothing, which is what I just told you, that you have, that all the time that you thought nothing happens in your experience, actually things happen, but you don't remember them, like, necessarily. So it's nice to know at least something about them. There's also, it also opens the door to another to several options. Like when what you consider the progression of wakeful time, that's something that happens when you're perceiving that body space from a specific direction. If you perceive it from a different direction, it's a different time, progression of time. There is no you might go into a loop around the objective substrate, or around your body space, that experientially would feel like 1,000 years, and then come back to the same second later. I mean, it's possible, because there's no binding necessary connection between the now in the wakeful sense and the body. It's just, so there's a lot of options here. This chapter discusses them. There's a lot of there's also ways that the body might actually use this variability to achieve evolutionary advantages. So that's specifically, I'm talking about something that I call a body drift, which is that when the body forces you out of your wakeful reality to renegotiate a better body space, but you can just read the chapter. Yeah. So this chapter is very speculative, but it's also very interesting, because who wouldn't know what happens when we are not, which we don't remember.